Hello everyone and welcome to Helix Plays Games, and joining me this week is at CyberChris2077, Mr. Chris.
Hello everyone.
And of course our chaotic neutral, Mr. Rob.
Hello.
All three of us are here together. That's actually becoming a rarity. And we're all hungover.
Yeah, because we're all together drinking.
Yeah, we had a good time though. Worth it. But we do have a great show lined up for you, even though we're hungover, where we'll be discussing, will Avowed be better without co-op, the end times for physical media, and learn to cook like a pirate? All that and much, much more on this week's XPass. Before we get into it, I'm not going to do the usual rigmarole because I'm going to throw it over to Chris to tell you about some very big news for the channel. Catch you, Chris.
Hey, got it. I'll pass it to you afterwards, Rob. Yes, here we are, Monday, regularly scheduled programming of XPass, and we are here to bring you a news update that you've probably already seen. We've got a channel update available on the channel. You might have noticed a little bit of a rebrand going on behind the scenes, now public. We've made the decision to update and evolve, as we usually do it feels like every year we do this. We just go, let's mix it up a little bit. We like to decorate around here at formerly Helix Plays Games, because as you've probably already seen, we are now known as GamerGuildTV, and that's going to be the channel's tag going forward, and there's a lot of reasoning behind it, but to kind of condense it down, go check out the channel update if you want the full in-depth one. But in a nutshell, we've done many shows, and we've covered many things for many years now, and naturally it takes a lot of time and effort to make this content, and we do it as a hobby, and we absolutely love it and adore it, and every week get together, chat with our friends, and of course you, our lovely viewers and audience out there. But the reality is, we need to streamline, I think, what we've been doing a little bit. We've been stretching our things like too much butter scraped across too much bread, almost, in a way. And we have very busy lives. We all have full-time jobs and things to do, and loved ones and partners. And the reality is I have a newborn child now, and I want to spend more time with my family, and doing multiple shows, multiple thumbnails, multiple docs, editing, rendering, uploading, timestamps, scheduling, tweets, and all of that stuff. It takes a long time. And when you do it across multiple shows, like when we do a Lunar show as well, that's like 3 times, and it's basically my whole Sunday is gone, or Saturday, whatever day we record. You lose a whole day of your day off from your normal day job, doing essentially content, which, again, we love it, but we do need to streamline it. So going forward, this is GamerGuildTV. It's under one umbrella, and we will bring you the GamerGuild podcast. So anyone out there listening to XPass thinking, oh no, my Xbox news not going anywhere, PlayStation news not going anywhere, we're just going to focus it all of our energy into one wonderful show called the GamerGuild podcast. So it's, again, nice one umbrella. That's the brand, that's the show. It's all streamlined. It's not plays, cloud, sounds off. It's all just refined into one place with a lovely, sexy logo. And we'll bring it to you every single month, dropping on the same feed that you're listening to this on, the same YouTube channel you're watching this on. It'll just be GamerGuildTV. So follow us on social media across all those. And we said on all of our other announcements as well, it just means that the show has a bit more flexibility. We can go a little bit longer. We can talk about things like Nintendo, PC gaming, cloud gaming. We can bring basically anything we're talking about into one show. And it could run for a little bit longer because we don't have to stop and start and record and redo the other show notes. It can just be make a beeline through all of the amazing content we want to talk about. So, XPass, talking the PS, sayonara, but you're getting it all in one great place, the Gamer Guild podcast. So yes, looking forward to it, exciting times, and I think we said on all of our other announcements that reality is it was either cut back on this or you get nothing from us. So what world would you rather live in? So yes, Gamer Guild podcast, looking forward to it, guys. Very excited. We've been sitting on this for quite some time. And we actually have a new intro. I didn't even talk about it on Talking to PS, so it's a good thing this show goes out first. We have a brand new intro, commission, new soundtrack. Looks great, looks awesome. We've got armour and we're dressed as knights. What else could a young boy aspire to? What more could we aspire to? So go check out that. Richie might even be playing it now over our voiceover for all I know. But anything you guys want to add on, Rob? Any little attachments?
The big one for me is the flexibility it gives us to talk about different platforms. Because, there has been some kind of, fair comments where people have been saying, we're talking about Nintendo and we're talking about this, and, because Richie, you're super big into Nintendo, I'm very much like a PC gamer first and console second. And like, I can understand where we got to with like the platform specific podcasts, but it kind of like has outlived its purpose now, I guess. I think we need to actually, aside from like wanting to get some time back for personal kind of reasons and stuff like that, I still think this is the way this like our content should have went. So like, you know.
Yeah, a lot of our decisions have been influenced by just like the nature of stuff that happened. Like Stadia completely combusted in on itself, so we had to quickly pivot and we went to Helix Cloud Games. And then naturally that doesn't bode well for a channel name because it doesn't... The name doesn't bring people and you don't really know what it's about. So then eventually we evolved that into Players Games to make it more centric on, look, we're playing games. It's a channel that makes sense. And I think the Gamer Guild, it is what it is. You're a bunch of gamers, we're in a guild together, we play together. It's synonymous with video games anyway, guilds. And at the end of the day, the logo looks cool. It's a sword and a shield with 2 Gs back to back. What more could you want, folks?
I was pretty happy when you showed me the logo. That's probably some of the best stuff we've done, actually. And we always say play wherever makes you happiest. So now you only have to listen to one podcast to find what games you want to play.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, sometimes it's weird because while having separate shows for each platform, I think in the ideal world we'd literally have a Nintendo show, we'd have a GeForce Now show, a Luna show. We'd just nowhere near the capacity to do anything.
And we'd get paid to do it as well.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, quit our jobs and just all content. It's 5 days a week or something would be.
With us only having like 2 or 3 shows, if you include Luna listening, them shows are actually a bit restricting. Because if there's not much happening in Xbox, it means we're still trying to produce an hour-long show with not much interesting stuff. Yeah. When Nintendo could be absolutely doing amazing stuff, or could be amazing stuff happening on PC, and we just don't have a platform to talk about it. This kind of gives us a platform to talk about the most exciting news happening in gaming, wherever it is. So I think it will be probably the best shows we've ever done coming forward.
Yeah, I think like people aren't as kind of console loyal anymore, are they? Like people just... As you say.
But not in our guild.
Not in our guild.
Yeah.
People are a lot more fluid about where they're playing on what platform, and I think we should reflect that in what we make.
And that's it's a great point, that, Rob, because it kind of goes back to our audience. Like our Helix Heroes going to be members of the guild now. Heroes of the Guild, I think, is our official tag we're going with for you wonderful folks who support us that a little bit further. But again, it just allows us to bring you better quality content. We mentioned it as well. A merch store. You've been crying out for a merch store for ages. It's here. It's like should be live now if YouTube doesn't screw us over with it. So you can go and order Gamer Guild t-shirts, Helix Plays t-shirts, get yourself some retro Sounds of Stadia merch. It's all going to be there, so we can keep bringing you better quality content. But the reality is, we need that work-life balance, and we do this as a hobby. And us getting several hours back to spend with our loved ones, our partners, our family, whatever that is, it's just going to bring you better quality content. So I'm very, very looking forward to it. I love the fact that it's all going to be under one umbrella. We still get together and talk about games with you, and our Helix Heroes. You're absolutely you've been fantastic to us. And I think our audience, back to what you were saying, Rob, like, you guys are very mature for what the internet usually is out there, and everyone in our Discord chat. I think we are actually going to get some mods together as well. We've been saying about this for ages, but those of you like put so much effort into giving us stories and stuff and helping us out with the content we make. We want to appreciate that as well, and we do have a nice little giveaway as well. So keep your eyes peeled. Next Monday, Gamer Guild Podcast Episode 1 will be going live.
Yep, indeed, because this is the last episode of XPass. So if you haven't already, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. I usually tell you to. Our weekly live stream last week was Quake 2. We'll be talking a bit more about that. But Chris, for the last time, would you like to introduce us to the
excellently examined and excavated Xbox expose, aka the news.
The news. In high pitch. But I just completely blanked. I was drinking heavily last night, guys.
We all were.
The news is brought to you by our guild, our Heroes of the Guild going forward, where you can join for as little as 99p. Gives you early access. Are we doing early access for Gamer Guild?
We might as well when it records. Like, just if it's done, just put it up and then.
As soon as it's done, as soon as we.
Plus, we can. Since we're getting rid of several shows, we should probably give our members something.
Yeah,
so it'd probably be a good thing.
Yeah, custom emoji. It's all this usual stuff that you're still familiar with from back in the Helix Plays Games days, only with new branding. We're not really changing anything there. But first news story of the week. to kind of close out XPass, we wanted to kind of dig into how important is Starfield for Xbox's 2023. So, Chris, I'm going to throw over to you first. How big do you think important Starfield's going to be?
I mean, after the epic faceplant that was Redfall, I think there's a lot of eyes on, especially after all of the news with the Activision acquisition. It's getting that point where like they need a big win. Like Halo Infinite's like very much in the rearview mirror. We know nothing about Gears. There's a lot of stuff they've been talking about for such a long time, like talking, showcasing, and they seem confident in Starfield. Like the way the Starfield Direct happened, they felt it was that good. Remember, it got its own 40-minute segment after the showcase. Like that's how brazen and confident Bethesda are in this game. And in terms of the future going into like Christmas, where we know PlayStation 5s are selling gangbusters, we know Nintendo Switches are selling like hotcakes, still, Microsoft, even though they're in third place, they need like a big win. And for people like me who am not traditionally a Bethesda gamer, like Fallout and such, it's not really been my bag. Starfield, that Direct, it did something for me, which I'm like, right, I'm in. Like, I cannot wait for Starfield now. And if it did that for me, if it's doing that for other users and consumers out there, and families and kids and big gamers or whatever, I think it needs to. And I think Microsoft probably like, this could be taking and waving the flag for Halo, essentially, and Gears and Forza, because if it lands, it could be huge. It seems like a game you could play for a lifetime, so it's definitely big enough in scope, but I think Microsoft need it to be firing on all cylinders, and I think it's very, very important, because if this comes out and it's a flop, or it's an epic failure, or it's buggy as shit, like Redfall was, it's just another story to drill the nail in the coffin of like this brand in its level of quality that it should hold itself to.
And let's be fair, this is a more anticipated title than Redfall. Redfall was kind of you're doing something interesting there, let's see how it plays out. Everyone's looking at Starfield going, this is the next big thing from Bethesda. This is like, it's kind of like we haven't had this since Fallout 4, basically.
They don't do small games, Bethesda. Their history is in huge, stellar, open world titles that are known for like generations. Like Fallout and stuff and Skyrim, they're always in the conversation, and very, very important.
Yeah, Rob, what are you thinking about it? And crucially, will you buy an AMD Radeon RX 7900 XTX Starfield Edition graphics card?
That was a lot of words right there. My hungover brain just trying to process what you just said was like, what?
No, I won't be, because it's AMD and I'm an Intel guy, through and through.
You're rocking an Arc GPU. I was reading about the graphics card. These a Ryzen 7 CPU as well, but yeah, Starfield Edition's like processors and GPUs.
I mean, it looks sexy.
Yeah, but it looks sexy for something that's just going to go in your case and you're never going to look at.
Well, yeah. Well, no. The PC gamers have these cool translucent boxes with like LEDs and everything now.
They do, I do too. But realistically, I'm not even looking at it.
You don't really look at it. To be fair, I only notice my PS5 because there's this like white monolith that sits in the corner of my room.
So yeah, I won't be touching the AMD partnership thing, but I think Xbox need to do this to prove that they can still create IP. Because I was thinking before we started this show, like, what was like the last thing Xbox kind of birthed is obviously they have like Forza and stuff like that, but they're not new. They're very much iterations on.
That's, for me, I'd say in terms of scale,
probably the last successful new IP.
Yeah, but it's not a scale of.
No, it's not.
I'd have said Sea of Thieves. I think they've had a lot of smaller, like Avowed and stuff. Was like not Avowed, sorry.
Avowed's not out yet.
No. What's the one with the Honey I Shrunk the Kids?
Oh, Grounded.
Grounded, that's the one, yeah, Grounded. It's from, so Grounded was like, it's good, but it didn't scale up like I think you're saying, Rob, whereas I think Sea of Thieves started off bad, and it's now huge, and like that, like you said, that's a long while ago now.
Yeah, like, I can't think of the last time they made something big and which stuck around for a lot of generations, so I think this needs to be that. So
yeah, at Bethesda as well, like, I do think it's been a while since Bethesda have had an absolute hit.
Yeah.
I mean, Fallout 76 seems to be getting to a point where it does have a bit of a following. It's going okay nowadays. but it's nowhere near probably the hit they were hoping it would be. And before that was literally like Fallout 4.
And it's tainted, isn't it? Like 76 is like, no matter how good they get it to, it's tainted. Like no one wants to. Like just Fallout 5 would be the next like best interest for them to do.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the scope of the games, yeah, they just need that big win. And I think when we look at the other side of the coin at PlayStation, you think like Horizon, Forbidden West, Zero Dawn, Ghost of Tsushima, like there's some like when I think of them, like they're such big franchises already, and they start like you've got where we're in this remake and remaster world. We only get to that world because of classic like brand new IP was once made many generations ago, and all the stuff like they're kind of incubating and making out Starfield could be looked back at in 20 years when we get Starfield Remaster and everyone's popping off on episode 365 of the Gamer Guild podcast because, oh my god, they're remaking Starfield. Can you like that's what world we want to live in several decades from now. And if Redfall ain't getting that love, sorry, it is. But they want Starfield to be revered as like one of the pillars of Xbox, and that's why they went all in exclusive, because they want it to be that flag they can wave and say, if you want to play this cracking title, you need to get an Xbox or PC.
Yeah, I think for me, Starfield. I mentioned Fallout 4, but Fallout 4 is kind of like it was good, but it didn't have the same love following that Fallout 3 on New Vegas did. So when I'm looking at Starfield, I think this needs to be closer to something like how Skyrim just took the gaming world by storm, compared to like Fallout 4, which just kind of came and went a bit. So I do think that they do need this to be a massive hit, not just for Bethesda's sake, but for Xbox in general. It's like it would if it flops, which I don't think it will, but I really don't. They seem very, very confident on it. I think that would be catastrophic for them.
Yeah, it would kill it. So when you say like how important is it for Xbox's 2023, I think it's everything.
Yeah, like I think it defines whether this year is considered a success or complete utter failure for Microsoft. Well, we know things like Hi-Fi Rush came out, Shadow dropped, and everyone fell in love with it. If that's the best you have in the year, the year not looking great in a year where things like Sony are going to be dropping the Spider-Man 2. You kind of need that's what you're going up head against really this year. So Final Fantasy 16 doing incredible, not as well as Square would like, but Square seem to have odd expectations for everything. Yeah, I think very, very important game for them. I think not just this year as well. I think this could be the turning point we're waiting for Xbox to have that we know they can do. This could be the first of this great series of games that we expect to be coming in the next few years.
Yeah, and I really hope it's in like the Game of the Year conversation. Like, let's face it, with Spider-Man and Zelda over on the Nintendo front, it was like we can't go another year where Xbox are just non-existent at like the Game Awards because they just put out nothing of merit that even gets close to like a top 3, top 4 conversation. Yet every single year we go back and forth between like PlayStation, Nintendo, like who's going to do it. Like, I haven't played Zelda, but I'm guessing Zelda's going to win just because of how beloved Breath of like there's something about it.
You look at Baldur's Gate, how well that's doing. Hogwarts Legacy earlier in the year did fantastic.
But I think Zelda's
again,
just got
we've got
that
Spider-Man that will be in consideration. Jedi Survivor might be in there. Final Fantasy VI. There's a lot of stacked. This Game of the Year conversation is going to be absolutely stacked this year.
But just not for Xbox. And that's their problem.
Yeah. But moving on, last week we talked about QuakeCon, and me and Rob, and there was strong rumours that Quake 2 was about a shadow drop, and it did. Have either of you played it, had the opportunity?
I personally haven't, no.
Chris?
No, I left it to you. I've been very, very busy with travel and stuff this week. I've not. I played Roller Coaster Tycoon on the plane is all I've done this week in terms of gaming. And you know what was really... I know we haven't spoken about what we're playing, but there's a nice little cute story. Is at the end, you'll know on Roller Coaster Tycoon when you've hit your achievement for like what the park objectives are. Like, everyone leaves go with their balloons and they fly up in the air and there's like a little clap and a little message pops up. As the plane touched down at Leeds Airport, I was like looking out the window as you do, and the months were just ticking away in the game. I was fast forwarding it to try and finish it. As it touched down, I hit the objectives, and in my little earphones, it was like, hey, clap, and the balloons went up, but it timed it perfectly with the plane landing, and I was like, is there anything more British than clapping a plane landing? And then the video game kind of did it in my ears, and it was like a very, like, surreal moment, but it was quite funny.
Is that a British thing, clapping the plane? I thought that was more of an American thing.
Oh no, I'd say it's us. Like when people go "way" when you drop something.
Yeah, but we do it sarcastically. We do it because it was a dodgy landing rather than a good one.
Oh, see, I don't think Americans do it. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. Do you clap? Do you clap when you land a plane? I mean, if you land the plane, fair enough. But
do you think the pilot does? Good job, Captain.
Good job, me. Let me know. Are you a pilot? Do you applaud yourself every time you land a plane?
Americans clap everything. They clap in movies as well.
Yeah, that's just weird. Sit there, shut up, and watch the film.
You've been told.
Right, let's talk about Quake. So Quake 2 Remasters came out on Game Pass, which is where I played it on our live stream last week, and I think it's great. Like, it is Quake 2, as people might remember it. It plays similar to, like, as you'd expect a Doom Quake to play, but with some modern touches. Like, it plays incredibly smooth. It's at least 60 frames per second, probably way higher. It's dead smooth. I don't know. I don't really have a bad thing to say about it. And, like, we do talk a bit more about it and talk in the PS because it's coming to the PlayStation Plus. Is it PlayStation Plus or is it just coming to PlayStation? No,
just available on PlayStation 4 and 5.
Yeah. But it got me thinking, is like how indie developers kind of rejuvenated like the 2D platformer and then elevated it to like modern style, and now it's just become a thriving genre. This kind of old-fashioned first-person shooter, I think, could see a resurgence, like, if indie developers getting on board with looking at how, like, Quake 2's the remaster's being handled and go, we could do something interesting like that. A bit of nostalgia throwback, like almost like a spiritual successor or something to, like, vintage things like Quake or Doom or Wolfenstein. Yeah, I don't really have anything bad to say about it. It's good.
Yeah, and I enjoyed Doom. I think these older style shooters, because as you said, there's not much verticality in terms of looking up and down. It's usually like left to right, strafe, left to right, strafe. I think they lend themselves very well to like portable play as well. Like, I love playing Doom 64. I never played it before. We got it free with Doom Eternal, I think, and then it went on Game Pass or something. I can't remember. But I played it using my Razer Kishi on my phone, and it's like, because of the graphic fidelity is not like crazy good. It just played really like nice. Same with GoldenEye. I played really, really well on my like phone with the Kishi. And I think Quake is probably one of those where it just would play really well. So if you're on the move with it, it'd be really, really fun. But yeah, I've never played Quake before, but it's one of those where I never played Doom before, and I had an absolute blast playing Doom. So
it's not that story heavy. You'll be fine. You could play it on your Kishi. Quake 2, it does come with free DLC and Quake 2 64 all bundled in together.
Nice.
So pretty good. Moving on to our favourite little kitten, Chris. And it's done incredibly well. So Strayyyy is pretty much on the top of it. Within less than 24 hours since its launch on Xbox, it's dominating the charts. It's number one in multiple countries.
Not bad at all. Strayyyy is fantastic. There's loads of people out there who were like lamented it being in the Game of the Year conversation last year, and I was like, I totally understood why it was in there. I don't know if it's just if you're not a cat person. Like, I'm not a cat person, but I still had a fun time running around as a four-legged feline. And we finally we knew it was coming for quite some time. I'm very, in a way, disappointed it's not on Game Pass because it thrived so well because it was on PS Plus. Like, everyone jumped in, everyone checked out. It was like a moment in time. And I think I remember it more so because we're in the middle of that damn heat wave during the summer, so I remember it very vividly. But it's great to see it there. I hope it does really, really well, and we'll definitely see a sequel at some point. But like, why are more games? Why can't you play as animals in more games?
Well, I think that's the thing. I think why people took to it, because it did feel quite new in terms of how you interacted with the world. So you're not playing as basically a man running around with a gun. Mm-hmm. But you had such rich environments, such like interesting stories to be told in this world. But you're just playing as a cat.
Yeah, just a little cat.
I think that's probably the one thing that turned some people off. It's like, well, I'm just playing as a cat, so I don't get it. Mm-hmm. But I had a great time with it. I never got the platinum though.
There's a lot of fun to be had for £20, right? Like, yeah. Which is the price it's on now. That's crazy price for that game.
£19.99 or $23.99 if you live in the US.
What was your achievement you need to go back and get, Richie, for your...
Oh, it's the one where you had to run through the corridors without any of the things jumping on you.
Is that it? That's the only one?
Yeah, I did it over and over. I just could not get it.
See, I feel like that's one of them platinums where it's sat there just waiting for you to, like, when you've got a bit of a refresh mind to just jump back into and go, like, you know what? That's how, and I bet you do it, like, second attempt or something.
Probably,
like,
yeah.
Put off for so long, because I did that.
It might just still be installed. Like, I'd have to check my PlayStation, but...
Yeah,
it might generally
like
just be left
fight.
installed. Yeah.
You know, where, like, you die, and you go, you know what, fuck it, I'm not playing it anymore, and then you come on next
A week
morning,
later,
switch it on, and you do it, like, immediately in one hit, and you're like, damn, okay.
Yeah, you realise you just needed a clean head and not get rid of the frustration and go into it. But let's continue to move on to Baldur's Gate 3 being one of the highest rated games of 2023. It's doing very, very well right now.
Yeah, but I mean, you're the only one I think who's played it back on Google Stadia when it was in kind of beta early access on there. And now I think you lost your save a few times, right? Now it's kind of out, and it's getting so well reviewed. How much of you has that like pull to just be like, okay?
It's starting to turn my head again. I'll be honest there. I think because it's been coming out basically for about 3 years.
Yeah.
I kind of, when you just kind of burn out on something, it's like I kind of wish it was like, okay, here's the beta, a year later it drops, but it's been coming out. Since this game was announced, Stadia has been born and died. And then we've had like 2 years since we last recorded Sounds of Stadia. So it feels like a long time to come out. So I just think I just got bored of hearing about it. Is it 2? It'd be it's more than 1.
For what? Since we recorded
Sounds of Stadia,
the podcast.
Yeah.
Whatever Sounds of Stadia thing do you know?
Talking to PS is like episode 60.
Oh yeah, I guess. Well, no, we did that. Before,
it's a bit over one. It's a bit over one.
I was going to say, I'm sure it didn't only shutter this January.
Yeah, but I'm getting my dates wrong. Doesn't matter.
2 years. I was like, wow, that's
but
flew
now
over.
It's currently sitting on a Metacritic of 97. That's insane.
That is top scores.
That's one of them goes, okay, I'm paying attention. It's not going to be a day one purchase for me. It's already passed. But I think I'll probably pick up at some point.
I mean, to be fair, it ain't coming to Xbox anytime soon. So by the time it comes out, you might have had that like breathability, Game of the Year reviews, all that kind of discussion, and then it's like, oh, it's ready to go.
I don't know how well my PC would handle it. It's a PC game. I'm going to be honest. Like, yes, you could probably play on the console, but you probably shouldn't. There's some games that are designed to be played on PC, and that's where you should play them if you can. And I think this is definitely one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
not for me.
Not for you. Not for you, Rob.
I just don't have the time to put into a game like that. That's the issue.
That's
especially being stuck back in the Skyrim as well. So like,
you just need to stop playing like nostalgia games.
No, I do not. Okay, shut up.
Not now. We can talk about them.
Right.
Extensively. Do what you do. You Rob.
Do a Skyrim stream. We'll just do some retro streams or something occasionally. Something we can do going forward. Let's talk about Atlas Falling. So the reviews are out, and it's doing okay.
Which one's Atlas Falling again? My brain can't process.
Like you're in a desert and there's like big monster things coming at you, RPG style.
Yeah,
I feel like it's going to be. Yeah, it's one of them games. I feel like, even though it's reviewing well, it is very much going to be swept up in just how stacked this year has been. I do. It's just going to like come and go. It's like if you're still putting hours and hours into Zelda, if you're still chipping away at Final Fantasy, if you're waiting on Starfield, like you're not going to want to start anything really when Starfield's like imminently on the horizon. And then it's like, yeah, it's a great game, but I'm kind of patiently waiting for the next like huge thing to come out. It's weird how isn't marketing and cycles work. It's like you'll stop or you'll put off something that's arguably great, reviewing really well, just because. No reason why, just because.
Yeah,
I just feel like it's a bit of a...
Looks like Final Fantasy, to be fair.
Yeah, but also it's not good enough to kind of like break out of the noise, I guess.
I think this is the problem. I think I've brought this up in the past with like games. Like IGN have given this a 7 out of 10. That seems to be roughly the ballpark most other outlets are giving it. There's a 9 or 2 out there, but there's also some like 5s. So it seems to be a 7 out of 10 game based on preference. Might go higher, might go lower. I find it difficult to find time for 7 out of 10 games. It's just a purely there's only so many so many hours in the week, and there's games that I haven't touched Final Fantasy 16 yet. I haven't touched Jedi Survivor yet. I haven't rolled credits on Zelda. I didn't roll credits on Octopath. Why would I go out of my way for a 7 out of 10 game when I've got like 9s out of 10 games that I haven't got time to play? Mm-hmm. So I feel a bit sorry for the developers in that sense sometimes, because I'm sure they want to make an amazing game, and it looks decent enough. But it's just not.
It's not strong enough.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
I'm surprised it wasn't picked up on Game Pass or something, actually. It seems like that type of game, like similar to Outriders, where it's like a smaller scale, graphically looks great, fun, reviewing kind of like okay, well received with a 7. I feel like that would have been a great get for August for Game Pass, but we don't make those decisions.
Yeah, I think the general consensus reading through some of the reviews is the story's a bit weaker than people would like, but the combat is quite fun, so it's kind of like it's just a kind of a fun actiony game. So if you're just looking for a bit of mindless fun, you'll probably have a great time. If you're looking for something a bit more, it's probably not the game for you. But anyway, we've had a THQ Nordic showcase. And
yeah, this one passed us by. I totally didn't even realise it was like a thing. And then there's just the news articles dropped where they basically showed off a ton of content, a couple of dates for games, all coming to Xbox.
Indeed. So we've had... I'll go through the list of games that were here, and then you can pick and choose which ones you want to talk about. So we have Alone in the Dark, which is available for pre-order for $54. South Park Snow Day. Outcast, A New Beginning. Recreation, which feels like that's been coming for ages. Titan Quest 2. Trine 5. A Clockwork Conspiracy. Gothic 1 Remake. Is it actually called Gothic 1 Remake, or is it just Gothic? TMNT The Last Ronin, the game. Way of the Hunter. Ticker Moon Plains DLC. And that was it. So is any of these jumping out at you?
I think the South Park one's surprising, because I think after all the kind of chaos that the previous 2 South Park games went through with like switching developers and publishers and stuff, and it took so long to get some out, even though they're very well reviewed and revered. Snow Day looks like it's almost like they've took so South Park Snow Day, for those who don't know, it's a co-op full 3D action game taking place on a snow day where schools have been out. It strikes me as like South Park meets Crash Team Rumble, and I don't think if you took the South Park IP off it, anyone would pay any heed to this game, and yet that's what it is. It looks like you just team up and you go and throw snowballs at each other, and you play your characters. So like, because it's in the child's mind, like Cartman has his like magical spells or something, you're probably going to have the Coon in there, and there's going to be superhero meets the Lord of the Rings elements from the famous episodes of years gone by. Yeah, you just kind of run around and throw shit at each other, bash shit, make like tower defense kind of stuff, and kill the other team, which doesn't seem very South Park. So if you know what I mean, if you took the IP, it would just be a multiplayer game that existed. And the fact that it's THQ Nordic is like, okay.
I was half disappointed when I like realised what this was, because I thought it was going to be like the next in the series of like the South Park games. I was like,
yeah.
As soon as I saw the name and it was just Snow Day, I was like, I had to read it like 5 times and go, where's the pun in that? Where's the joke in Snow Day? And then it was like, oh wait, there isn't one. It's just that's the game. It was like, oh, like Butthole and
Fractured Butthole, Stick of Truth. Yeah. They were amazing games.
But just nothing. So I mean, I'm sure it'll be fun, but like I said, it gives me throwbacks to what was the South Park game on the N64 where you could piss on the snowball and throw it.
I think it was just South Park.
Was it just South Park the game?
Yeah.
I remember that, because like the turkeys were the enemies, weren't they?
Yeah. You go around on the bicycle. Like that was fun, but yeah, this just seems like such an odd thing. If for THQ Nordic as well, like I didn't think that would be a partner that they'd go with, but I guess South Park's still a popular IP, and then remember when we used to get like Family Guy games and stuff on the PS2 era?
Oh,
like
yeah,
you don't really get like Futurama games, like you don't really get that anymore. So I guess this is, if you watch South Park, and I say you're a kid, but kids shouldn't be watching South Park, but there's an audience there, then hey, it's probably a bit of fun, but it definitely shouldn't come out like a full price title or anything.
I think you might have just hit the nail on the head. Why I find it a bit weird. It's like it feels like a gameplay style that's aiming at a younger audience when the IP is aimed at an older audience.
Yeah.
So it just seems like a bit of a mismatch in that sense.
Yeah, we had to stay up past midnight to watch South Park as kids because it wasn't on normal hours. Yeah,
it's not for that. There was loads of controversy when it first came out because cartoons were for kids.
Yeah,
and this was very much not for kids. Mm-hmm. But I think it helps how Trey Parker and Matt Stone are very much gamers as well. They're very interested in games, so like, I'm guessing there's a good game in there. Otherwise, I don't think they would have given the license.
They're obviously not as hands-on as they were with the other two titles as well. This is very much like, there's your IP, we'll do the voices, but it doesn't look like there's any real story to it anyway. So, yeah, just expect some multiplayer fun. Yeah.
Another one I think is worth mentioning is Recreation. So this is kind of the Wreckfest spin-off, but where you can build a lot of your own tracks. So I think there could be a really cool game in here.
Yeah, it's like Wreckfest meets Mario Maker, essentially. Just do your own, make your own crazy zany stuff. The physics don't really exist in Wreckfest anyway in terms of like gravity and stuff. So just have at it. It could be quite fun if the price is right, or it did go into like Game Pass. Yeah, they didn't state Game Pass in the Xbox blog, but it does fit thing like you would just have kind of like Hot Wheels. Like if you can just make your track and share it with your friends and just dick around and go on a crazy zany wild ride. It looks good. It's a kind of a concept that I'm surprised more racing games haven't done. Like I'm watching the trailer now and they're plonking like a big giant fake dinosaur in the middle of a racetrack,
like
suspended over a forest with loads of obstacles and twists and turns and loops. And it's like, yeah, like that could be really fun. Like Wreckfest is a fun game anyway. Add another like total like vertical to the game, and there's a lot of fun that could be had here. So Recreation is, I think, not a great name, man.
I think it solves the problem of Wreckfest, where Wreckfest, it was great fun, but then you're quite limited in terms of the maps.
Yeah.
So kind of like at some point you're just playing through the same stuff over and over again. This effectively has unlimited content, because if you get bored of the map, just create a new one.
It looks like there's a lot of assets as well. If not like half-assed with like, here's one or two things. Like it looks like there's a lot to play with. So yeah, get creative. Looks interesting.
Yeah, and watching the trailer, it looks quite intuitive. So Rob, is there anything that you want to bring up?
There's two for me on there. Like I think Alone in the Dark will be a nice title because I kind of like those horror-based games. I think it'll probably be lost on you two, but and the fact that David Harbour's attached to it is obviously
it's a good get.
Yeah, that gives it more points than it probably should in objective terms. But it's going to pull me in. But also Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That looks great. Like I know it's just like a little concept at the moment, but I think
it's like off the back of the movie as well, which is very, very like, I'm not a Turtles fan, but because I love Spider-Verse so much and seeing the movie trailers in that same art style, it really made me go like, you know what, I would probably, like, if I had the time and someone said, do you want to go check out the cinema, I'd probably go, yeah, I'll go along to that. I'll probably catch it on streaming services now, but I think Turtles are having kind of like a renaissance with the Nickelodeon shows, and like kids are back into it. Adults alike who enjoyed it when they were kids enjoy it, and we're getting obviously Shredder's Revenge was reviewed very, very well, the classic, and then now there's a movie out. I think it's having like a really good boom for the Turtles, so you go get it.
I'll read from the Xbox blog for the game. It's TMNT The Last Ronin. Just make a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but who is the last Ronin? In a future battle-ravaged New York City, a lone surviving turtle embarks on a seemingly hopeless mission, seeking justice for the family he lost. From the minds and creators of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and based on the best-selling comic book by Eastman, Walt Bishop, Delgado, and the Escorza brothers, the official video game adaptation of TMNT The Last Ronin is coming to Xbox Series X and S.
Yeah, the comic book's like one of the most revered ones, I believe, because it's just like they kill, like they're dead, like Leonardo and stuff. I don't know who the survivors, but I'm sure like 3 of the 4 are dead, and it's very much like getting vengeance and stuff. Very dark story, but like depending on where they go with the graphics and the gameplay, this could be like the Arkham Asylum of the Turtles games. Which is it's a weird concept to say, but at the same time, that storyline sounds cool as shit. So like, you could get me. I could be a big Turtles fan if.
I kind of like because you're probably going to play as just a completely new character. I've never read the comics, but it gives them a bit more opportunity to for customization in your character. Where if you're playing as any of the original four, you're kind of just stuck with what they are and what they look like and how you'd expect them to play.
Well, I think that's one of the things in the comic is that because it's the one surviving turtle, he kind of uses all the weapons of his brothers. So that's which in a video game, that's awesome because then you get all the powers without having to play as them individually. So you can have the nunchucks, you can have the katana and just jump around, you can have the techie skills. So that's when I think, again, very Batman Arkham, like the utility belt of tools and weapons, it's now implied by you'd have all the other Turtles equipment. Like maybe you upgrade to it or you unlock them as the story goes on. But yeah, there's something cool about a dark, gritty Turtle story where I'm running around a city avenging my fallen brothers, but I'm a giant turtle. Like that.
It shouldn't work, but it just does somehow.
There's something weird enough, and this is back to what we were saying about Atlas Fallen. How there's just nothing about that gets me excited. Yet I'm not a Turtles fan, and yet I read little snippets of this and what it's based on, and I'm suddenly hyped up for a game I've had no interest in. And that's all about the marketing spin and how you can approach it. So it's weird how video games work.
It's looking very black and white as well. So it could be almost in what's the word I'm looking for? Like a noir take on it.
Yeah,
a samurai noir game that you're playing as a Ninja Turtle. There's an interesting thing then there. But do you know what is interesting, Chris and Rob? Avowed. So Avowed was originally going to have co-op, but they have decided to remove it. So what do you think? Good or bad?
Now, it would be very easy, and I'm sure a lot of the internet will jump on that and go oh, they're taking away features and stuff. I was like, not every game needs to have online multiplayer or co-op, right? It's right straight and early, because I think on another day I'd probably be going, oh, that's a shame. It's something they're taking away more assets. And I think even the devs talking about it is quite brave, because there's a big sections of the internet which take this as, oh, it's struggling with development, they couldn't even implement co-op, or multiplayer's been scrapped. It's like, oh, it's doomed to fail. It's like, well, no, actually, they've looked at their product, they're refining it to what they want it to be. And I think, it's. I mean, it might have been better with co-op, who knows? But I'm sure the devs are in the right position to make that decision. And I think getting it, rather than shipping it half-assed and it being like a little tag-on, like we got with so many PS3 360 games, let it breathe and be its own thing. Like, not every game needs to be an open-world, sprawling online thing. It can be single-player, smaller story, smaller game, smaller time frame, more importantly, so you can actually play it without it sucking up 100 hours of your life. But it doesn't bother me. I think I'm just appreciate that the devs are smart enough to make that decision sooner rather than later.
I think I echo exactly that. And I think that they even said themselves they want to focus on the things that they're best at instead of just shoehorning something that isn't going to add much to the actual uniqueness of the game.
Yeah, I think part of it is there's rumours that have come out that basically where the studio head Fergus Quahart. Sorry, I haven't butchered that name. For Fergie, I think he was originally, from what the rumours is, that he was originally pushing for co-op to be in their multiplayer to help sell it to publishers. Go, look, this is the idea. It's going to be multiplayer. Look how much money we saw in multiplayer is. Because there's a quote from him, when you're asking for 50, 60, 70, $80 million, you've got to have something interesting to talk about, and multiplayer made it interesting. It was sort of this idea of it's almost like the peanut butter and chocolate putting it together. I can't read today. Wow, it must be something good. So it's kind of I think that's what we're looking at, because it does look a bit like a Skyrim clone. It's a Skyrim clone that is co-op. It gives it a little bit of something when you're trying to sell it, but it seems like when they've actually been developing, it's maybe not right for the game.
Yeah, I think with Avowed, I think Obsidian are hoping for this is going to be their Skyrim moment. They want Avowed to be their fantasy RPG they're known for, rather, because they always get that kind of Fallout Vegas thing, but it's not theirs. It's not their IP. I mean, it's all in Microsoft's now, but you know what I mean? They want their title that elevates them to that next level of fame almost. And seemingly they have a lot of confidence in it. So yeah, making those decisions and talking about it in the way they are is it's got me a little bit more excited for Avowed, because the last trailer took a lot of wind out of my sails with it, I think. I don't know about you two, but like the art style or the colour palette choice that they went with was like, this doesn't look like the Avowed we were promised in the first teaser trailer. And it's going away from maybe what I wanted, but that might be better for the game overall if that's what the devs think's right.
Yeah, I'm kind of lukewarm about it at the moment, and that's not going to change because of this, but it is something that's helping at least.
It's nice just to see the developers going, okay, we were going to make this co-op. We don't think it's right for the game, so we're going to focus on making the best game we can, rather than just chasing random checklists that they've effectively decided, like before they start developing, go, actually, this doesn't make sense. And there's actually no reason why co-op couldn't come back later. We've seen stuff like that happen in the past, where, you know what, once the game's out, we're going to focus, then we're going to try and get co-op working.
Yeah, it could be like a year one patch, like afterwards, like these the year one expansion. It now has co-op. Like go back to it with a friend this time, like because it's going to be on Game Pass. It's not like going to cost any more. So like Sea of Thieves, if they just keep supporting it, adding feature after feature, that could be a big feature for like year 2.
Yeah,
but they'll have time to actually do it rather than have to try and rush to implement it for launch and then like, did it really?
Then you
make
get
a
a half
difference to the overall sale? Yeah,
and sometimes you can end up like, is it half when you get like this kind of like co-op single player mashup kind of game? So it's like it doesn't really. Sometimes it doesn't do either of them well enough. And I think sometimes just being more focused, this is a single player game or this is a multiplayer game, can really kind of like, I think like you look at It Takes Two, very much a co-op game right from the ground up. You cannot realistically play that game on your own, and that's when it's a selling point. That's what makes it good.
Yeah.
Where single player, especially I think for me, single players games can be a lot more immersive because you're not interacting with your mate while you're playing. You're just focused on what's happening in game.
Yeah, just enjoy the story for what it is.
Yeah.
Watching the trailer now, I'm just thinking back at like, Rob, did you watch Mythic Quest?
Yeah,
a little bit. I'm watching the trailer and thinking the Avowed, the name and like the stylization of it now is like I'm just getting big like Mythic Quest vibes, which I think is why in my brain, knowing it's like a fictional game in a TV show, my brain's like thinking it's not a genuine product because it looks so close to some of the cuts. I know they use Ubisoft assets in the Mythic Quest, like the show. Like I finished it's a fantastic series. I finished the whole thing now. Really, really enjoyed it. That was part of like my Rob McElhenney kind of like spiral after that. And I think that's why when I'm looking at it, I'm like, all these characters and the font popping up in like Avowed. I can see it just being a cutscene between one of the segments in the show, and I'm like, maybe I need to get that out of my head, and I'll actually look at Avowed with like level of seriousness. That I'm not doing. But interesting, good show.
But moving on, do you think we're about to see the end of physical media? Because there's rumours that there's going to be a digital-only Xbox Series S. Series X. The Series S is already digital-only.
I mean, I'm all for it. I don't like having like discs and stuff knocking around.
You minimalist.
Like, like the fewer things that like are on shelves and like around me, like the happier I am. So, yeah, I'm all for this.
For me, I like options. I agree with you, actually. If I could get digital games for the same price as like physical games, I'd be all for it. My issue is, at the moment, you have consumer choice. Because of physical media, you can go to lots of different places to buy your game. Digital media, you go to the Xbox store, the PlayStation store. So I like that kind of option, which I think creates market and helps keep prices down a bit. Especially with the depreciation on physical media. If you don't buy a game day and date, give it a month or two. I think Final Fantasy 16, which I've literally got on my desk, I think I got it for 15 quid cheaper than like launch price in a month.
I guess like Microsoft and PlayStation are probably thinking of these like things much more because not many people are using Blu-rays and DVDs anymore, are they?
Yeah, so they're very clearly trying to phase it out.
Yeah, like if we go back to like PlayStation 3 kind of situation, like a lot of the reason that console did so well was because it had a Blu-ray player, and it was normally just as cheaper than an actual Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
So, like, with that not being a consideration anymore, I can see why, like, Microsoft and Sony are kind of just thinking, like, well, you know, what's the point? Like, what extra is it giving us?
I think it gives them more control of their ecosystem as well. If you can only go to their marketplace to buy the games, it just gives them that control. Where at the moment, they have to kind of price things based on like how things like Amazon are going to price things. And if Amazon suddenly put up, say I don't know, let's say when Avowed comes out, if Amazon just decide to list it as £40 instead of like 60, who's buying the digital version? Unless you have a Series S.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm all for it. I feel like Chris, not so much.
No, I'm still a saddos collecting my Blu-ray steelbooks and everything. Although not as much nowadays. Again, it's weird because like when we went on our cloud gaming adventure, it did open my eyes up to like not being as attached to it. Like physical, like I have a Series S, so I don't have any Xbox games on disc. I can't. It's a pointless purchase. I've not bought as many steelbooks. I think with like the waning MCU, and I've built up my library. So like my classic movies, I absolutely love. Like I've got them because they're classics, and I'll always love them. Like I'm never going to suddenly wake up and go, I don't like Jurassic Park anymore. Like that's not a thing. So it's like they're there, they're safe, they're there in eternity. But it's weird. But I think always with PlayStation, I'll always be that because that is like my go-to platform of always has. But yeah, it's weird how you just attach yourself to certain things physically. And like maybe one day I will just run out of space, and I'm like, and my wife's like, you cannot keep buying shit. Like my Pokemon card adventure that I've just been on, like that is starting to become ridiculous as well. So it's like, right, at one point you physically run out of physical space. So maybe that'll be the straw that breaks the camel's back. But I do appreciate the convenience. I'm just stuck in my ways, like a lot of us old begrudged people are.
I think for me, I think the transition over is inevitable. It is going to happen, but I don't know. I think we should try and keep hold of. Actually, the thing is nowadays, you could argue physical media is good for game preservation, but I don't think that's actually true anymore, because a lot of games now have less and less packed onto the disc. So games are not necessarily you buy the disc and not necessarily be playable on the disc without any form of patch. So if the game gets discontinued, so they stop patching it. It gets delisted or something, then even if you've got the physical disc, it might mean absolutely nothing. Yeah. So, I don't know, there's stuff to be said. I do think we will end up probably next generation as like, well, we know Sony's doing a detachable disc drive. So, I think that is, again, another step towards digital only. Cloud gaming is digital only by definition. You can't have physical cloud gaming.
Yeah. RIP, GameStop, all those shops around the world that like literally they rely on these and Funko Pops, and now they're just going to turn to Funko Pop stores.
I think that's just the way the world's changed. Those like if they want things like Blockbuster went out of business, like either you adapt to the change in the environment or you go under. It's a shame to see these companies go, and it's something nice to be even like used to like going to like HMV to look for music and stuff back in the day. Now that's gone.
No, HMV's still around. Yeah,
it's not nowhere near as
not in your mind, obviously.
Yeah, like when was the last time you went in one?
I don't know. I usually like to go look at the steelbooks, and then my wife says, "Don't buy them."
But yeah, it's just stuff like that. They used to be just commonplace in every single town and city all over the country. Now, actually, I don't even know where our closest HMV is. It's not in our town.
No.
So, yeah, I think it is inevitable. A few very quick stories just to briefly mention. The $1 Xbox trial for Game Pass is only for 2 weeks now instead of a month. And New Zealand have said yes to the Activision Blizzard King deal going through. Just small little nuggets like, ticking over.
I think everyone's going to say yes now. Now the US has folded.
Yeah,
it's just our stupid CMA were hanging around. It's like, can we just get it over with now? Like, come on.
It's going to happen. I think we all agree that now. We mentioned Starfield a bit earlier, but Samsung Gaming Hub has been using Starfield to promote cloud gaming. I almost forget that Samsung Gaming Hub's a thing sometimes.
Is that because you don't have a Samsung TV, do you think? Like, if you used it for that reason, you might have just more of a go-to.
Yeah, 100%.
There's always strong branding like that. So we see it every year with the launch of like Samsung phones. There's usually some kind of cross promotion with I think you got a Razer Kishi at one point over in the UK if you bought a Samsung phone with like 12 months Game Pass and a Razer Kishi. So there's a lot of cross pollination between these two brands, and like they just they don't really do the same stuff. So like it's like a perfect pairing for the two of them, I think, to just promote gaming on one front. So Samsung get to promote their TVs in line with gamers, so they can look cool with the kids. And XPass get another top quality brand, probably only second to Apple in the mobile space, to like promote Xbox. So it's kind of like a win-win that doesn't take much effort from both parties. So yeah, it's nice to see them talking about it, and it's nice to see that cloud game has still been pushed by some people out there. Because who knows the last time Amazon spoke about cloud gaming.
Yeah, that's the main reason I want to bring in there. It's like, cloud gaming. I think it's slowed down, but it's definitely not dead. There is big companies out there who are putting a lot of money into it, like Samsung, for example, and using it as in a prominent marketing campaign as well.
Yeah, it's not back to story number one of like Starfield being huge. Like, if you've got third-party companies talking about it as well, like that's like how many eggs they're putting in this basket. So it's got to be good. It's got to be good.
And just to round out the show, Rob, would you like to learn how to cook like a pirate?
I was trying to think of a pirate pun then, but I'm too hungover to do it. Yes, I would, Richie, yes.
Oh, well.
Too much rum last night for you.
Well, I have some good news for you. You can. There's going to be a Sea of Thieves cookbook. It'll come out hardcover on March the 19th, 2024. It's already listed on Amazon and probably other bookshops.
Do pirates cook that often? Like, realistically, like out at sea,
I
like
don't know.
You've got fish, whatever
Limes.
provisions you brought with you. Everyone's working. There's only usually one chef, like one kitchen chef. But I'm guessing the meals weren't great. Like this, we're not talking like cruise lines where there's like a buffet of everything you could possibly ever want to eat for unlimited supplies. But I'm sure a dash of them will go well.
It has over 80 delicious recipes, including things like vegan house chili.
Pirates don't eat vegan shit.
Cracking tentacles.
Absolutely not.
How the house roast from the unicorn. So it's inspired by all the different foods and drinks in the game. Some coconut ice cream. Oh, that's I could do. Mango and coconut ice cream.
I do like good coconut ice cream.
Grilled mango, coconut and coconut ice cream. Is that grilled ice cream or grilled mango? Do you think?
Say if it's grilled ice cream, it's not an ice cream.
I don't
anymore.
feel grilled ice cream.
Yeah,
It's a drink.
It's no longer ice cream. It's just now standard issue cream.
Someone looking through the cookbook, going, I've done something wrong. It's just a puddle now. Where did I go wrong? You put it on fire, you idiot.
But yeah, it's just another line, and the Xbox doing weird stuff. But you know what? There might be some delicious recipes in there. There's other ones as well. There's like a Tomb Raider one, like
it's just a cool spin-off thing to do, isn't it?
a Genshin Impact one, if that takes your fancy.
Maybe we'll have a Gamer Guild cookbook where we get together and put our best recipes ever.
Takeaway.
which takeaway to order? Triple burger, Rob.
It's just got
Triple burger.
Yeah, we'll charge it. It'll be £20, and it just has like lots of different QR codes which you scan to get all the takeaway apps.
Burger, pizza, kebab.
But that is all we have time for this week, and that is the end of XPass. If you've liked XPass, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, or your podcast feed of choice with notifications kept on, because the Gamer Guild podcast starts next week on these feeds, on the XPass feed. So don't cancel your subs. We're going to still be talking about Xbox. We're still going to be talking about PlayStation. We're also going to be talking about things like happening in Switch, all the best news coming out of the PC gaming space, all the best news, all condensed into one podcast that isn't going to be as time restrictive as talking to PS and XPass are currently. We have a Discord. All that's still none of that's going away. It's in the link below. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for supporting the show, and hope for your support going forward. My name's been Richie.
I've been Chris.
And I've been Rob.
GG everyone. Goodbye.
It makes sense now.